What is up, you guys? This is All Danny Day 1 on the PS4, and I'm going to be giving you another Assassin's Creed Odyssey build video. And with this build video in particular, I'm going to be giving you, it's more of a fun build, not necessarily like a high damaging build or anything that's going to pretty much one-shot anyone. This is a Brawler build, so if you want to go around just using your fists and, you know, just going ham on people and just fighting the whole city and whatnot, I think this build in particular is going to be a fun build for you. So also, I do hope you guys enjoyed the intro as well, because I'm trying something new. I'm going to try doing like intro music as well with little montages of these specific builds that I'm using. But let me know what you think about the intros. So we're going to go ahead and go straight into the builds. So with the inventory, you're going to be using one legendary weapon, which is going to be Edge of Time, and Edge of Time is going to have assassin damage. Unfortunately, you do need warrior damage, and this does have assassin damage, but the only reason why you're using this is because of the two engraves. So reduces all cooldowns by 10% on successful parry, and then you're going to throw on that 25% cooldown duration for all abilities, and that one comes from the Harpy of Perseus, which is from Medusa. And then with the Edge of Time, you also get that 21% adrenaline per hit, which is also going to come in handy. It would be nice if it did come with crit damage instead, but the adrenaline per hit does save you a lot of extra points from your mastery, so you don't have to worry about putting any adrenaline per hit or adrenaline per crit with the mastery. And then for the bow, I have warrior damage, crit chance, all damage. Those are going to be the three you're going to definitely want to have, and then not the 30% armor penetration, but instead you're going to want to have that 25% damage on elites and bosses. So I do have two the same type of bows, so just so I can have two different engraves. And then for the gear, well, also for the last weapon is going to be unarmed, because you're going to be using only your fists. Now for the epic gear, on the headpiece you're going to have warrior damage, all damage, 14% crit chance while full health, and 35% crit damage. And then for the mercenary or the epic gloves, you're going to have warrior damage, crit chance, 60% crit damage while full health, and 35% crit damage. And then the torso, warrior damage, all damage, 35% crit damage, and 2% damage dealt restored as health. And what's funny is you're not going to be doing like an extreme amount of damage, but you are going to be getting a lot of health back, which I found was pretty weird, because I'm at a total of 5% damage dealt restored as health. But even with other builds that I use with daggers or swords or spears, whatever, I don't get a lot of health back for some reason. Even though I'm doing like 300k, 400k, maybe even 500k damage, I don't get a lot of health back. But with Fist, I'm hitting like 20k, or yeah, about 20k to 50k, and sometimes on the combo finisher, I'll hit around 200, 300k, and I'll get a lot of health back, which I'm not exactly sure why, but yeah, I think you generally just get a lot of health back when you're using fists. And then for the waist, I have warrior damage, crit damage while full health, 7% crit chance, and then 5% crit chance, and crit damage, 25% crit damage while full health. Now that comes from the Nemean Lion set for that engrave. If you do not have the Nemean Lion set engrave, you could always go with the Persian set engrave, with the Persian Elite set engrave, because that one gives you, it's going to only give you 10% damage whenever time is slowed down rather than 40%. Now 40% is really nice as well, but we're not going to be using that Persian Elite set, and for some reason it's still bugged. It's not going to give me that 7 stars rather than the 1 star. But with the engrave, it's going to give you 10% damage whenever your time is slowed down. But if you do not have the Persian Elite set, which comes from the DLC, then you can always throw on something like the, I believe it's you can use the all abilities engrave, or you can use the warrior. Oh, no, that is actually wrong, because that goes to the torso. I forgot exactly what is on the waist. I'm pretty sure you can get crit damage. So you can get 7% crit chance, which I have, and then the all damage is what you can also go with. So all damage or total armor, if you want to go with that, or health. So just for a little bit more survivability. I guess you could technically go with this, but you would also have to pay for Helix, or pay with it with Helix to get really any of these for. This one's with the DLC. And then the last one is going to be the boots or the legs. So I have assassin damage. Unfortunately, it is assassin damage. It would have been better if it was warrior damage, but it's assassin damage, 14% crit chance while full health, 60% crit damage while full health, and then I threw on the 14% warrior damage. What you could end up going with for the boots though is right over here. Let's see. So you could also go with the all damage instead. So if you end up getting the warrior damage, you can just throw on that all damage, which I would honestly recommend. So all damage, crit chance at full health, crit damage at full health, and then warrior damage would be the perfect legs for that as well. Now for the abilities, it's very simple. You're not going to be going with a lot of abilities anyways, but you're only going to go 2 out of 3 on the hunter ability or the archer master, just because of the fact that you do get adrenaline whenever your adrenaline segment has a little bit of adrenaline in it. So if your adrenaline has like 0.0001% of adrenaline inside of it, you're going to get adrenaline not increase, but that adrenaline bar is going to be filled up when you're out of combat, which is very useful. And then with your weapons master, you're going to get that maxed out, so you get a 10% increase in crit chance, and then your combo finishers also deal a lot more damage, and your warrior damage is increased by 40%. The gear master, you want to get this so that way you have an increase in your armor by 90%, and you do take 10% less range damage, and you can also stagger enemies. Well, you have a 10% chance to stagger enemies. And then the last passive is going to be the Shadow Assassin. So with Shadow Assassin, this is going to give you that extra 50% crit damage. That's all you're using it for. You could use it for the knockout damage as well, but knockout damage is also based off of your assassin ability. So if you don't have a high assassin ability or high assassin stat, your knockout's not going to be that great. But it doesn't matter. You're not going to need that anyways. And then you're also going to go with charged heavy attack as well. But for the abilities, you're going to have 3 out of 3 on Sparta Cake. Second Wind is maxed out, Shield Breaker is maxed out, 1 out of 3 on Overpower Attacks, 3 out of 3 on Battle Cry of Ares, 3 out of 3 on Slow Time, and 3 out of 3 on Vanish. Now, Overpower Attacks is still really useful if you do get it maxed out, but for some reason I'm just unable to ever crit with Overpower Attacks, so I just never bother with it. Unless they're on the floor and you use Overpower Attacks on them while they're on the floor, it'll just do a one punch type of deal. And then normally it'll hit a crit, and it'll be a high damage. But the same thing works with Shield Breaker as well. When they're on the floor, you can just go ahead and use the Shield Breaker, and then it'll do a lot of damage on them. Now for your Master, you're going to have no points into Hunter, but you're going to have 16% damage after parry, which is 12 out of 20. 15 out of 20 on warrior damage, 18% warrior damage, and then 8 out of 20 on damage dealt restored as health, so you're 3%, which means you're going to be at 5% in total with damage dealt restored as health. And then for the assassin, you're going to go 12 out of 20 with damage after perfectly timed dodge, which is going to give you 16% extra damage. 12 out of 20 on crit chance while full health, and that's going to give you up to 8%. 13 out of 20 because I had 1 extra point, so I put that in here, and it'll put you at 42% crit damage. 8 out of 20 on damage with full health, which would be 12%. 8 out of 20 on adrenaline on perfectly timed dodge, 24% adrenaline gain. 12 out of 20 on damage on elites and bosses, 16% on that. And then cooldown duration for all abilities is going to be at 8% or minus 8%, so 12 out of 20 on there. And that is it. And that is pretty much it with this build. So if you also want to see the stats, it's at 3837 for warrior damage. You do generally want to be at least 4,000 and higher, but like I said, the fact that Edge of Time did kind of mess it up, that made me unable to reach my goal, as well as this being flipped. It would have been better if the warrior damage was on the top, so it could be at 18% warrior damage. But if you can get that one piece, if you can get this to the 18% warrior damage, and then you could also get the little bit of extra points into your mastery points, you'll end up having over 4,000 warrior damage easy, which means more melee damage. But I mean, 3837 is still good enough. And if you want to see the outfits I'm using, so the outfit I have is the Persian Elite Band, and then I have the Spartan Renegade Torso, I believe that's what it's called, Armor of Rebellion. And then for this, I'm wearing nothing, the Hidden Waist. And then the gloves, I am wearing the Spartan Renegade one as well, the Warrior's Restraint. And then the boots, I am wearing the Athenian Sandals. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If this helped you out, go and leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know down in the comment section as well. And keep in mind, this is not that easy of a build to use. It will require you to know how to parry or when to parry and dodge as well for the perfect dodges. But I got a bounty on me. Nice. But anyways, I'm gonna actually press pause real quick. So also another tip is when it comes to parrying, when you notice that the enemy's weapon kind of blinks white, when it has like a white ring around the weapon and it blinks, that means you can parry it, but you need to parry it before they actually swing. So as soon as they swing, you're gonna get parried, or you're gonna parry, and then you'll be able to get your adrenaline, the extra damage, and then you'll be able to do more damage on them. But when they're charged, when it's a red mark, you can't parry that. You have to dodge it. So as soon as they swing, you can try to get that perfect dodge. And yeah, but that's pretty much it with this video. Like I said, if this helped you out, go leave a like, comment, subscribe. And also, if you have any other suggestions, build suggestions, let me know down in the comment section. I will also be showing you guys a clip of this build in action, maybe against a few bounties, conquest. I don't exactly know what I'm going to throw out yet, but whatever it is, I hope you guys enjoy it. Have a good day, good night, and enjoy the rest of the clip.
You can win against me! I'll prove you wrong! Yeah!